Hi, I'm Dala, and today we are installing this box of assorted spaghetti into the EVNX. Let's get started. Okay, so the key for any successful VCU installation is preparation. And I have gone ahead and I have labeled every single wire according to the diagram that came with the Resolve EV controller. And I've also put these Abico connectors on it so that I can quickly connect stuff. And this is gonna be like a cooking show where I have already prepared, like on the other side, this is the connector that goes into the battery management system, and it then loops around and into this cable, and all the wires are labeled so that I will have a really easy time to just connect these two. And I've done the same thing for the inverter as well, so it should be really a plug and play installation. But let's throw everything in the car and see. Okay, time to make some crimped cables. Whoops! Okay, so I really should have needed an anvil for that, but it worked, and yeah, I can continue with the negative one. Okay, so before we dive into the inside of the car, I thought I'd show you what the 12-volt system looks like. So I've got the positive lead coming here and also the battery negative, and I've run a ground strap down to the chassis rail, and these two cables then loop back to the battery. And yeah, so they will just connect like this. But I will also run another cable from this terminal, and I will just run it into the cabin here. That way we can get some 12-volt power going directly into the controller for our experiments. So let's continue inside the car. Okay, so I flipped back the carpet down, and the first wiring harness is snaked here under the carpet. And I was thinking about placing the Resolve controller right here where the original ECU used to sit. And we also need to build some strain relief system for this cable, but we'll get to that once we know that everything works. This is fine for now. So I'm thinking next step now is to mount the Resolve controller here and then just pull additional harnesses to it, and yeah, let's go from there. Okay, so here's a midway done update. I skipped the original plan to mount the controller directly because I want to test run everything first. So I have the BMS wires coming in here, I have the throttle pedal wires coming in, and I have the CAN wires from the front, and I also made this button so that I can turn on and off the controller. I still need to make some buttons to be able to put it into drive, but I will also have to make some extender wires, because if we go to the front, I've mounted the cable that starts here and goes all the way here. So my plan is to have a junction box here, like on the original vehicle. You can see that I also have the old wiring harness just cut here. But for now I will just make some extension wires and just run them directly into the cabin area so that we can try the controller out. So with the next update I will be completed with the wiring. So yeah, just a few more hours. Okay, so a few hours later, and wow, this is what it looks like now. But every single wire is connected, and yeah, we're gonna turn the key. Yeah, this is not pretty looking at all, but this is just for testing. But the Resolver manual, it states that you can also try... Whoa! You can also try disconnecting the set of contactors, I mean remove the high voltage lines, and then you can try to start the vehicle without those connected and just see that they click, and then you can measure measure that they work and yeah, or make sure that they don't weld themselves together. So I think we'll try the first start like that. Okay, so we just verified that the contactors worked. We didn't film this, but basically we disconnected all the orange cabling and we just powered on the system, and we measured that we had 0 ohms across this one, and we had 30 ohms across this one due to the pre-charged resistor. So now we have reconnected the high voltage lines and we are going to do the first startup. So I have the screen down here. I don't know how good you can see that. Maybe you can. I'm not gonna peel the cover off it. Let's just leave it on. But I just hooked up the 12 volt battery down there, and I'm gonna try starting the car. Let's see what happens. Clunk, clunk, both relays. Nice. And this display is telling me that the battery is at 64% state of charge, and we are now in neutral. Wow. Should we try spinning it? Okay, so I put the camera in this awkward position so that you can hear if the gearbox spins. So right now I'm gonna jump inside the vehicle and I'm gonna try to put it into drive. So let's see how this goes. Okay, so the car is on and I'm gonna have to connect the brake pedal on, and now I'm gonna flip the drive switch, and the OLED display has now a big D glowing. So now I'm gonna go into the driver's seat and let's press that pedal. Here we go. Amazing! Wow, I'm so relieved after a long hot day that we finally have the first spin. And now we can just continue to button this up and make it nicer. I had originally thought about making this video more centered around the Resolve EV controller and tell you how amazing I think it is. But as you can see in this video, it was like so easy to get it hooked up, and I haven't tried charging yet, but supposedly, I'm pretty sure it works because the DC-DC converter is working. But supposedly it's just a plug and play thing. I could just plug in the charge port and charge this thing. But I want to get the water cooling system hooked up before I start to charge this, so yeah. I think that's enough for this video. I would like to thank all my Patreon supporters for supporting this build. You guys are awesome. So, stay tuned for the next episode where we try to, industrialize this thing and make it safe for daily use. So, stay tuned. Dalla out.